Hey, what is up everybody, Bladesper here, and today I have for you guys another video of Persona 5X here. Inside today's video, guys, you guys already see the title. We are going to be going over the 3 units that you can possibly get for free. I'm going to be telling you guys about their builds here and which one you probably would like to pick. Definitely each one's going to have their own little play style, of course, so depending on how you go about it will depend on which character is really meant for you. But as you guys can see in the background, we actually ended up getting a new trailer as well, so I thought to really just put that in as well, mainly just showcasing, hey, the game's coming out very soon. And I think even we get the I think it's the closed beta test or the open beta test date, which I think is on the 12th, and then of course we have the Taiwanese launch on the 18th. So fairly interesting. A little quick little trailer, nothing too long here. I think you guys probably missed like 30 seconds of it, if I'm being honest, before I started the recording. In which, let's see here, yeah, it was just like a little bit here, nothing too much here, but hey, definitely decent to look at. It looks really nice, to say the least here, and I can't wait to see more things that come out. But of course, you guys are here for the build, so let's go ahead and just swap on over to that. Alright, so yesterday I told you guys on the community page that I was actually going to be doing a little bit of a guide and gave you a little bit of a sneak peek of one of the guides I was going to be doing here. And it was fairly interesting, but I did a lot of changes to it and made it a lot better for you guys. So I ended up actually sitting down and just doing everything that we needed to be done and got all 3 of them done actually yesterday. So it kind of surprised me, but your boy ended up doing it. So the first one that we're going to be looking at is going to be Skull and Captain Kid. He's going to be one of the free thieves that you're able to get out of here, of course, out of the 3. The other 2 are going to be Panther and Carmen, as well as Mona and Zoro. So surely do stick around to see what they actually can do as well. It's gonna look kind of small, so I'm gonna zoom in for you guys. Hold on, let's zoom in a little bit. If you guys want an actual HD version of the guide and stuff like that, so you can actually read it yourself as well, instead of just hearing me babble and yap a little bit, be sure to jump into the Discord server. I'll have that down below in the comments section as well, in which we're finally going to be adding a Persona 5X section, because hey, the Discord's getting more acclimated with different little games and things like that, so I gotta add in a lot more spots. But with Ryuji here, we actually have his overall information overview going around with his attacks here, which is at 97 HP, speed, blitz effect, which I'm pretty darn sure is crit damage, and then of course we do have the defense, his energy values, aka energy regeneration, as well as the strike rate. Now strike rate is pretty much the crit rate here. I think a lot of us ended up whittling this down, especially after checking out a lot of the characters' kits here. And once we checked out the kits, definitely strike rate and blitz effect seem like the crit rate, crit damage type of deal here. So of course I went through the trouble and managed to look at his skills, or get a good look at his skills here. One of his first skills with, of course, his persona is going to be called Explosive Impact here. It is a single target at least hit here that actually takes a little bit, 8% of his HP. Now I'll tell you guys one thing about Ryuji. He's definitely going to be one of those people that are like crazy DPS heavy here. He's going to deal a lot of damage. The only thing that can really make him a little iffy here is because he whittles down his HP. This is something that we've always seen inside of Persona, of course, so it's nothing too new here. But this, especially when it comes down to dealing with certain people, it's going to be kind of difficult to manage, because one of the things with him as well is he's going to be a lot better for bossing and things like that as well. But with Explosive Impact here, he's able to deal 43.8% physical damage to one enemy 2 to 3 times. Now this, no matter what, is going to hit you at least 2 times, but it has a chance to hitting 3 as well. And if you don't have a touchdown bounce, which is a different status, which I need to figure out exactly the full parentheses version for it, so I can actually have that for you guys up and ready for you all. But if you don't have a touchdown bounce status on him, he's able to actually drain 20% more HP to do 20% more damage. Now touchdown bounce most likely is going to be like more of that thing that you're able to, of course, get more attack stats out of here. But the only issue here is, once again, if you don't have this on him, you are able to deal some more damage, which is really nice, but at the cost of your HP. So he's going to be one of those characters that, hey, you gonna need some HP on you, because you are going to be sacrificing a lot of it to deal the damage that you need to deal here. Now that's just his first skill here. With his second skill, he has Electric Shock Discipline here, which is another single target hit here, but this one takes at least 26 SP, in which by dealing 80% electric damage to one enemy, he's able to deal 32% more damage if the target is below half health. So this is one of those moves that this is where you want to save a little bit SP for, especially when you know you've gotten the target down to half health. So once again, he does more damage to at least bossing, because when an enemy has more HP than his, he actually does a lot more damage to them as well. So if they're already at HP, at least half HP, and the overall max HP of this boss is above his, this is going to deal a ton of damage here. So you really want to make sure that you're using this, especially in a wise manner, when it does come down to actually fighting some of these bosses or fighting some of these enemies, because it does have its ups and downs, especially with the amount of SP it does take out. Now going to the Power Strike move here, this is another single target damage move here, definitely no type of AoEs in his kit here, which does once again drain his HP by 15%. Now you're able to select a enemy here and skip your turn as you have an initiate state for a charge here. Now in the next turn, of course, you're able to immediately strike the enemy here while dealing 185.6% physical damage if you are in the status effect of Touchdown Bounce. Now once again, Touchdown Bounce is one of those little statuses that he does have on the side. I'll be sure to figure out exactly what that entails later down the line as well, so be a little bit like weighty with me, okay, just wait on that. But this also guarantees him a hit, and if an enemy dies between the Skull's turn, or at least Mr. Ryuji's turn in general here, he is able to attack another random enemy instead. So let's say someone like the person you had locked down, or the persona that you had locked down, Shadow, and it ended up dying to one of your other party members. Well, no matter what, Ryuji's is going to relock to someone else, and he's going to use that damage on them instead, which is pretty dang interesting here. Now for, of course, his fourth skill, which is called Combo Tips, this is usually going to be your one more or highlight moves here. You're able to actually inflict physical damage to one enemy with the one more, and then of course with the highlight you deal 265.6% physical damage to an enemy, increasing damage of the next skill by 38.4%. Now of course you always got the melee attack, in which he does deal physical damage as well. All right, so now that we're done with his skills here, let's go ahead and go to the passives on the bottom right here. His passives are pretty interesting, called Righteousness and Special Attack. Righteousness, pretty much whenever Touchdown is activated or Touchdown Bounce is activated, he's able to restore HP equal to 10% of his attack stat. So anything that is pretty much his attack stat, which you will want to build up a little bit more here, you're able to get 10% HP equal to that attack stat, which is absolutely amazing. And when it comes down to his special attack passive here, it increases the attack power by 15% when attacking an enemy with more health than him. So anyone who has more HP than him, he will deal more damage, which is why I was referencing, and he's getting that 15% extra damage. Now when it does come down to his teams here, you definitely want to run these types of teams here, and actually two of them are new units, and actually I gotta make sure I remember their dang names. So hold on, let me see if I can pull them up for you guys, because I think a lot of us are actually trying to remember a couple names, or at least a lot of us don't have their names down packed. Oh wait, I didn't even notice the trailer came out for him, so I'm gonna have to actually go over that as well. But we do have two new characters that are going to be running side by side, at least beside Ryuji here, in which will be the main thing that you guys want to go ahead and look at as well. But I don't think I can find them, but I do know one of them is the girl in the yellow suit, which I'm actually getting some Chie vibes off of her, so definitely going to be using her a little bit here. And then another one is actually one of the new operators that you're able to actually go ahead and check out as well, in which she will be ran with them. Now the reason that you want to run these two with them, at least, or with him in general, is because this is going to be a shock related team here. By having this team up immediately here, you're able to actually do whatever you need to be done here, and actually deal a lot more damage based on shock. Of course, this is going off his electric shock discipline move here, which can deal that nice old electric damage. Now his bottom team is a flex team as well, where he's able to do some nice shock combos, but since we have Morgana here, it's just mainly like just a regular combo team here, in which he's able to have some heals to replace some of the HP that he drains. Morgana has a lot of HP related statuses, being one of the healers that are in the game, and so that would be really nice to at least have on his team. But all right, that was the first one. We'll go over Panther and Carmen in a second. Okay, so getting into Panther's guide here, we're actually gonna go ahead and zoom this on in, and actually this one's a little bit blurry. I gotta probably re-download this one because I don't know why you look a little blurry right there. That's actually bad even for me because I can't even see it. So give me 1 second to try and get my better version out. And actually, hold on, let's just pull up this real quick because I know I did a better version of this for the infographic. So let's open this up here, and we're just gonna put this into, I would like not to have this for photos, so let's just open this up in our browser. Boom, there we go. Way better. We can actually see it now. It'll be easier for us to read now. All right, so Panther and Carmen is very interesting as well. They're more of the fire DPS, as you guys already knew was going to happen here, in which they got a lot on their plate. Of course, their information overview, she has higher attack than Ryuji by the looks of it here, with a base stat of 107, HP is 246, speed is 94, aka 94 here. I don't know why I said it like that. Blitz effect is 150%, strike rate is 5%, of course energy value is 100, and then the defense is 55. Now going down with her skills here, her first skill is called Flowering Warmth here, which is an AoE damage skill that takes away 20 SP. Now this will end up dealing 50% of just fire damage to all enemies here. This is an AoE move after all, and this actually boosts her own damage by 20% for 2 turns. Now while in, of course, a certain state called subconscious state here, she's able to reduce the enemy's damage by 8% based on a high roll. Now if she gets a low roll, then it doesn't do this extra little part here. But if she does get a high roll, she's able to boost her damage by an additional 8%, and the effect will last for 2 turns. So it's fairly interesting seeing that you're able to keep this subconscious state on and deal those extra damage here while also living a fire status. But it definitely does depend if you get a high roll effect on the move to actually give you the full on effect in general. Now with our second skill, it is a single target attack called Fire Magic, or just Agi, let's be honest here, in which this does 20, or this takes 20 SP here for a single target damage, dealing 108% fire damage to one enemy. Now this also has a 75% base chance to pretty much put the enemy in a burn state, which is fairly freaking awesome. And then pretty much the enemy's HP, if they are less than 50, they actually go into a submerged state where you're actually able to deal an additional 50% damage. That's actually a lot of damage, okay? I've already looked at a lot of the gameplay when it does come down to at least the damage we're able to deal. First of all, damage numbers in this game are going to look crazy. Second of all, when it does come down to this 50% extra damage, she's going to be hitting some high numbers, especially while having some burn effects. So it's going to be fairly interesting to see how her teams actually go about here. Now with her next move here, we have Flame Erosion, which is another AoE move here, taking 22 SP. Pretty much she deals 56.8% fire damage to all enemies here, while also with a 50% chance of causing them to fall into burn state. Now the damage is increased by 50% if the subliminal state is activated. So if you're already in subliminal state, or at least there's in subliminal state here, you're actually able to get yourself 50% extra damage as well. Now when it comes down to their fighting technique, or at least her fourth skill here, her one more indicates fire damage here, while her highlight actually inflicts 127% of damage as fire damage on all enemies, while also increasing damage by 51%, that will last actually for one whole turn. So that's actually fairly interesting as well. Now going ahead and going to her passives here, her first one is called Thermal Distress here, which damage dealt to the enemy in a burning state is actually increased by 10%. And then her second passive is Solace here, in which at the end of the dive state, you will end up actually restoring 15% of your damage to the companion with the lowest life percentage. So she's able to actually boost up some people as well with their damage, and that's kind of nice, especially with the amount of damage that she's able to actually input as well. So it's kind of interesting to see how her kit plays out. She's a fairly interesting character that you can pick from here. I'm personally still going down the Ryuji side of things here currently, and that's only just because Mans is actually built for bossing or slash those harder enemies here, so it's probably going to be a better choice here. All right, now so your teams that you want to go ahead and be using her with here, you actually want to go ahead and use the Mono Fire team, which is going to be part of the Exorcist here, which I have not checked out his trailer as well recently. His name's Kiyoshi, and so definitely going to be checking that out very soon here. But part of pretty much the team is going to be with Kiyoshi here, as well as our owl buddy himself. So you definitely want to use them three together if you're really looking for that extra Mono Fire damage here. Now, of course, if you don't want to use Kiyoshi himself or Ki in general, you can go ahead and use just her Ki, and then instead of using the owl, you can use a flex spot, which is normally meant for anyone you really want to. I feel like this team doesn't need extra heals to be really good here, so you could put a healer there, but it would probably be better if you can find some more DOT type units here that would really help them out, at least to fully make this team be a lot stronger here. But that is a flex spot, so it's up to you guys what you want to do. All right, so now we have our zoomed in man here, which is Mona. I don't know why he was zoomed in this freaking close here, but Mona himself is one of the only healers. Now, this is probably my second pick I would say go for, especially if you guys really need a healer in your team, other than Ryuji, who's just going to be the best damager I feel like right now. But Mona himself is a healer with 99 attack, 243 HP, 100 speed, and 150% blitz effect, while also having 57 defense, 100 energy value, and 5% strike rate. Now, this character has a few skills here, one of them being Gale Attack that we're all very familiar with here, which is a single target hit that takes 22 SP, while also dealing 76.9% of wind damage to one enemy, and with a 100% chance of causing the enemy to fall into a wind state. Now, this is pretty much just a knockdown state that they're probably going to be confused for a little bit for at least 2 turns, and so that's going to be very interesting to have on our team as well. Now, of course, he has an AoE heal called Heal Arts here that takes 28 SP. This will restore around 26.2% HP based on his damage or the attack power that he does have, plus 49 HP to all companions. This also will end up dispelling one elemental debuff from each companion as well, so it's really nice as well. Now, of course, if you dispel something on the companion or even on himself, he's able to gain a layer of intuition, which will be explained probably later on in the game here, or either inside of his passive as well, because I was reading this passive earlier and getting a little bit more depth dive into it, and it's kind of weird to state here. But all right, we have his third skill, which is Miracle Fist here, in which another move we are very familiar with. Miracle Fist is one of the single target damage moves here, in which does 12% of his HP in total, while dealing 84.5% of physical damage to one enemy. Now, the skill's hit rate is reduced every time you use it by 20%, but the strike rate is actually increased by 30%. So of course, you may not be able to hit it too much here, but with the strike rate being the crit rate that we can have, each time we use it, our crit rate's gonna stack. So let's say his base crit rate is 5% right now. Well, we used it once, we lose like a 100% chance. That's now a 20% chance now. So we're at an 80% chance. He's now at 35% crit rate. Well, we're gonna use it again. Well, boom, we're now at least like 65% crit rate, but now we have at least a 60% chance to hit it. Now, of course, if you do get the hit off, it does a bludgeon state in which you will gain another layer of intuition, which will actually help you heal as well. Now his fourth skill, which is fighting technique, he is able to go with his one more, inflicting wind damage, of course, and then his highlight inflicts 149.4% of wind damage to one enemy while also reviving a companion at 1% of their max HP. May not sound too broken, but it definitely is a broken move to have here, especially when you are looking at the things at hand. All right, now coming down to the passives here, we have confidence, which intuition's healing effect can be bludgeoned. Now, if this happens, this will increase intuition's recovery by an additional 15% of damage plus 200 base power. Pretty much as I said earlier, intuition is kind of like an additional recovery for HP here inside of his kit, in which, based on if you bludgeon it within this whole fight or anything that you're doing here, you will be able to actually heal or recover an additional 15% based off your damage in general overall for stats, plus an extra 200 overall stats. So you're going to be getting some nice healing from that itself. Now going into the passive that's called detention here, pretty much the aura is 5% reduction in all energy drain for all companions here. This is probably going to regard like their energy values here, so how much it takes to actually use said skills here, you're going to be able to reduce that. So that's going to be really nice as well to have. Now inside his teams, a lot of his things are like flex spots for the most part when it does come down to it, and that's just because he does a lot of things. Now his great little teams that is actually really nice to use is Mona and Florette here, one of the other newer units that recently dropped here. And then of course you have a flex space, which you can use whoever you want, either a DPS or something else. And then of course you have his other team, which is literally you just need him. You need to bring any DPS of your choosing. And then the last spot is a flex spot, so you can use another supporter, you can use a different person in general, and just try it out and see how it does work. Now the good part about at least Mona here, he does crazy good heals, he cleanses, he revives. The only problem is cleanse, for example, is for one ally, and then of course revive is only for his highlight. So I do suggest, if we're gonna go about this, and I want to say a ranking matter of who you should probably go ahead and go for at the start, I definitely say Skull is probably the best one to go for. Zoro would be the second one, depending on how your things went with just Mona in general. And then of course Anna herself, unfortunately, would be the third for me. Now of course this is just my a little hope, or at least my opinion on this. You guys can decide for yourself based on the kit that you like. But yeah, I definitely would say go with Ryuji being the first one, and I feel like he's going to be really useful, especially for getting that damage out there. But you definitely got to get an HP or a healer right after you do get Ryuji. So that is one of the things to take into matter. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do smash that like button, which for here, consider subscribing if you are new here. I'm going to be doing videos for P5X quite a lot, so look forward to those here. But if you are only here for P5X, I do post all types of gotchas here, so please don't get frustrated with that. But it is what it is. But of course, you want these guides for yourself, be sure to jump into the Discord, man. Jump into the Discord. We have a lot of things that we're going to be going over. I think I posted them earlier this morning into the Discord as well. And so if you guys want these, of course, you can get them yourselves here. So surely do look forward to that. But so then, everybody, stay safe, stay sharp, and stay determined. Peace out.